A sultry evening here in Central Florida for soccer, but we expect a hot one on the field also as the Lakeland Tropics host Sarasota Metropolis FC. Good evening, soccer fans, and welcome to kickoff here at Bryant Stadium for this USL League Two matchup tonight. A very warm but generally pleasant evening here in Central Florida. Temperatures most of the day in the mid-90s, but we do have a nice breeze, and if you're fortunate enough to find a little shade at least, it's pretty comfortable as Julian Hall tries to find some space down the left side. Good to see Julian in the starting lineup this evening. Got a couple of lineup changes for the Tropics that we'll tell you about going forward. Will Niamsi, number 6, on the ball right now for the Tropics, back in the lineup tonight. Good to see Will in there. He has been a spark when he has been in the midfield area, so good to see Niamsi back in the starting 11. Tropics come in tonight still very much alive for a playoff spot in the Southeastern Division of USL League Two. In fact, as we've talked about much of the year, the table is pretty crowded right now, with FC Miami City sitting atop with a 5-2-2 mark. The Miami side defeating the Tropics down in Miami Tuesday night 3-1. Kind of another heartbreaking loss for the Tropics. Looked like they had gotten the equalizer very late in the second half, in fact in the 85th minute, but goal was called back on offsides, and instead of a 2-2 tie in the dying moments of regulation, it ended up being a 3-1 final as Miami scored very late to salt that one away. So Miami on top with a 5-2-2 record, 17 points. The Villages in second at 4-1-3. They have played one less game than Miami, as has everyone else in the division, including the Tropics. Here's Barker trying to make a run down the left side. Looking for a little space to operate and gets it back out to Espinal. The Treasure Coast Tritons are third at 14 points with their record of 4-2-2. Florida Elite 4-3-1 with 13 points, and then the Tropics at 3-3-2 with 11 points. So it's 17, 15, 14, 13, and 11 points for the first 5 teams in the division. So things are still very much up for grabs, and if any one of these teams could string together 3 or 4 wins here in the second half of the season, might very well be enough to propel them to the postseason. So both of these clubs still hopeful that they might be able to do that, and that tonight might be the start of that. Sarasota comes in at 2-4-2 with just 8 points, and it's been a while since they have been in the win column. In fact, they won their first 2 games as an expansion team in USL League Two this year, both against Weston, a back-to-back home and away schedule opener for those 2 teams. Sarasota won them both, but they have not won since, going 0-4-2 in that stretch. But that is maybe a little bit misleading when you look at some of the results. In fact, 2 of those ties came against some of the better teams, at least on paper, in the Southeast so far this season. So the Tropics certainly know tonight not that they would ever take anyone lightly, but certainly not this evening, despite the fact that it's been a while since Sarasota has been in the win column. In fact, they had a 1-1 tie on June 12th, a little more than a week ago, about 10 days ago, against the Villages on the road up at the Villages. So you know that was a very good effort for Sarasota. And then they had a tie against the Treasure Coast Tritons that also, beg your pardon, that one was actually at home at IMG Academy. So those are 2 very good results for Sarasota. And they have certainly been in every game that they have played. Their most lopsided loss was 3-1 against FC Miami City at the end of May. So Their record might not be exactly what they were hoping for here in year one, but they have been very competitive and a tough out, if you will. Hall has it at the midfield line, gets it to the Tropics' leading scorer, Rafael Vacas. Nice through ball, and it's going to be called offsides. It was Tim Kasparik, who was just a half a step ahead of the defense on the good look by Rafael Vacas. Had the big 2-goal game a couple of weeks ago in the win here at Bryant Stadium against Treasure Coast.
Southern Homes invites you to see their many new beautiful homes across Polk County.
And is the team's leading scorer this year with 3.
For all new home information and more, check out Southern Homes at MySouthernHomes.com.
6th minute here at Bryant Stadium, scoreless. Really no
you can trust.
Big chances so far. Set piece coming up here for Sarasota, just from outside the top right corner of the box. So this will be a dangerous look here for the visitors. And perhaps a first test for new Tropics netminder tonight, Ryan Shello. Tell you about Ryan in just a minute, but a very nice addition to the team here past the midway point of the season. There's the ball into the box, and that's going to be wide on the short side. So Shello will get the goal kick. Joel Serrano has been the starting netminder for pretty much the entire Tropics season, but Shello coming aboard, coming off a very fine year in Division I soccer up at Cornell University as a starter for the Big Red. In fact, started all but one of the Big Red's game this last fall. Native of Miami, but is an engineering major in Ithaca. Beautiful Cornell University. Make my father happy, a Cornell grad. Played almost 1,500 minutes, in fact, for Cornell last year with 70 saves, which led the entire Ivy League. And a goals against average, very impressive, of just 1.28, an 11-5 overall record. Had 3 clean sheets as well during the college season, so good to have Shello on board representing the Big Red here tonight, and getting his first start for the Tropics. Barker with it for Lakeland now. Murphy will track it down and leave it off for the captain, Luka Vichers. Kamidakam with the ball into the box to Vacas, but he's offsides. Second time that the Tropics have come close to springing someone free, but that time it was Vacas just a step ahead of the field.
And thank you for your support of our Lakeland Tropics.
Shello, as we said, from the Miami area, served as the starting goalkeeper for Kendall SC of the U.S. Development Academy for 3 years, with the team making the Development Academy playoffs as a top 15 team in each of those 3 seasons. So he's got a nice resume coming in here to play for the Tropics.
As a friendly reminder, we ask that you please
was a member of the Florida Olympic Development State Team.
Your safety is our first priority.
Was an interregional all-star.
And go Tropics.
Back in 2010. Played his high school ball at Gulliver Prep down in the Miami area. So welcome to Ryan Shello. Has not been tested here so far in the first 9.5 minutes. Days like today, Ryan might wish he was actually back in the Finger Lakes. I think I saw yesterday the high in the Buffalo area where I hail from is 70 as Vacas tries to shake free down the right side and can't quite find enough space to create an opportunity. Good defensive recovery by Adam O'Sullivan to stop Vacas, but it'll be a corner kick coming up here for Lakeland. Not much of a breeze, just enough of one to keep things, as we said, kind of comfortable as long as you're in the shade. And it is blowing from the near side to the far side. Ball served into the box. Near miss there on the far post for Lakeland. It was actually Mark Murphy who had moved up from his center back position to create the opportunity. He scored a goal here last week against Weston. So the next to last home game of the regular season for Lakeland, they will hit the road for 4 straight, and four pretty tough ones at that. Talk about the upcoming schedule in a little bit, but this is the last Saturday night special here in Lakeland. The remaining lone regular season game here at Bryant Stadium will be Friday, July 12th, and that is the last regularly scheduled game. Tropics hoping perhaps that there will be playoff implications on the line that night. We'll see. It will be against another team that also certainly has playoff aspirations in Florida Elite Soccer Academy. They are based up in the Jacksonville area. There's a long ball down into the Lakeland third, but scoring chance for Guerrero.
Coyle Chiropractic is located on Bartow Road in Lakeland. Dr. Mike Coyle is your local spine health specialist. Go to CoyleChiro.net and see their full list of services.
12 and a half minutes in, no score here between the Lakeland Tropics and the Sarasota Metropolis FC. USL League 2 action. The Lakeland Tropics sister franchise, the Tropics SC of the UPSL, successful in their playoff debut Wednesday night over at Lake Myrtle Sports Complex, so they will be back in action for round 2 of the UPSL playoffs this coming Wednesday. Again, out at Lake Myrtle. We'll have that game streamed for you right here at mycujo.tv if you can't make it out. Here's Hall with it. Hall will push forward. Gets it on the left wing to Barker now. Barker looking for a little room. Cuts into the box. Gets it in front. Try a little give and go. Here's a blast by Hall, but that goes well wide of the mark, so it'll be a goal kick coming up for
every step of the way. Construction means call Rana Construction.
Tommy Wallace, the Sarasota netminder this evening.
Or go to RanaConstruction.com. Rana Construction builds many things, and trust is just one of the many things that they build well.
Tropics SC will take on Sporting Orlando in that second round game. Wednesday night, 7:30 is the kickoff time at Lake Myrtle, so we hope to see you out there if you're a Tropics fan or playoff soccer. It's Guerrero on the far side with some nice work. Still has it at the midfield line now. Takes a look for O'Sullivan on the right wing. Giveaway and Bacchus on the receiving end. Doesn't have much help. Let's see if he has an angle. Bacchus with a shot. Goal! Great effort by Rafael Bacchus on the giveaway. Didn't have a great angle, but had just enough space to slot it to the far post. And in the 14th minute, the Lakeland Tropics have a 1-0 lead. For Vacas, that's his 4th of the year. Junior college All-American out at Marshalltown Community College in Iowa. Will continue his soccer career at California Baptist this fall. But he has clearly emerged as the Tropics' biggest threat up front here in 2019. Throw in for the Tropics as Sarasota was a little late getting back defensively, and you could hear maybe the player calling Tete. That's Raphael's nickname. There's a shot on the short side, and that's a easy save off the foot of Kasparek. Turnover again. Hall leaves it on the right side. Kasparek. But Sarasota will, at least for the moment, clear the zone. And the Tropics will build forward one more time. Murphy now with it. Espinal. Good defensive work. Goes for naught, however, as Zach Ham unable to keep possession. They play on AstroTurf here at Bryant Stadium, so it can be a little quick. Some of the bounces can be a little unnatural compared to playing on a regulation turf, but it has also saved the Tropics a couple of times already this season with the fact that it drains so well, and even with all the heavy rains that we've had this spring and now early summer, they've been able to get in all their games as scheduled. So. There's the steal now by Barker. Barker gets it over to Vacas. Vacas with a shot. Goal! Wow, Barker and Vacas with a pretty play. And Vacas gets his 2nd of the night. He assists to Barker. And just like that, in the 18th minute, it's 2-0 Tropics.
Good job, 21. Way to go, 21. Woo! Yeah, baby, yeah. Good hustle.
I think it was Barker that actually helped create the turnover on Vacas' first goal as well. Don't know if he officially got an assist on that one, but certainly will on that one. And it's 2-0 Tropics just 18 minutes in, so best start of the season here for Lakeland. They've come out with a lot of energy, a lot of pressure, and easily their best start to any home game this year. And I would certainly dare say any game, because the Tropics have not been on the road all that much. Almost another turnover. Barker again sticks a foot in there. Barker gets it ahead again to Vacas and just does get cleared out of there. It's been quite a combination here for the Tropics tonight. It was a good defensive play by Rodriguez, or Vacas might have walked in to have an opportunity to get a hat trick in the first 20 minutes of the game. So Vacas with goals 4 and 5 now on the season. we said, it's not like Sarasota has been a weak sister by any stretch. In fact, you look at their goal differential on the season, it's just a -1, so pretty even line. In fact, the Tropics goal differential for the season is also a -1. But as close as things are top to bottom in the Southeast, there is no team in the division that has a better goal differential than 7. And that's the first place FC Miami City side and the Treasure Coast Tritons. Here's Niamsi. Niamsi looks for Vacas. Header over to Julian Hall. Shot! Goal! An unbelievable start for the Tropics. They get their 3rd of the game in the 20th minute. This time it's Julian Hall with the finish. This is looking more like the Major Arena Soccer League Florida Tropics than the Lakeland Tropics.
17, Julian Hall.
So Hall plays collegially at nearby Southeastern University and is a prolific scorer there. Gets one for the Tropics. I believe that's his 1st of the season. So Vacas with 2 and Julian Hall with his 1st. And it's 3-0 Lakeland. Shocking start here. Of course, the other part of that, if you're Sarasota, is there's a ton of time here to come back, but Tropics have been all over their visitors and then some. In fact, 3 is the most goals that the Tropics have scored in an entire game this year. They've done it a couple of times, a 3-0 win over Weston, and then maybe the Tropics' best win of the year, best played game of the year. In that 3-2 win over Treasure Coast. Of course, goals scored could end up being an important number when it gets down to a playoff tiebreaker. That is one of the statistics that can be used. There's Espinal with it. Parker will circle back to the middle of the field, and the Tropics will build forward here one more time. 3-0 Lakeland. Just 23 minutes in. Remarkable, remarkable start. Espinal with a chest trap on the left side of the penalty area. Tries to see if he can get across, gets it back out to Ganidacom. Parker with it. Tried to head it in front of Vacas, but never got through. Certainly should make Ryan Cello's debut a little more comfortable to have a 3-goal cushion here this early. Sarasota not going to waste any time here in making some substitutions. In fact, they've got 2 waiting to be waved on. Here's a long shot that goes off the mark.
Are you in search of a new career? Let Staff Builders HR help you. They have a huge variety of positions from the office to welders.
Smith that let it fly. So Rafa Da Silva, number 20. Andre Scott, number 17, going to be early substitutes here. And I think what we've got here is an official's timeout, water break, on this very steamy evening. The temperature here in Lakeland today around 95, 96, with a lot of humidity, obviously, so
Since
prudent
1997,
to allow both sides to regroup and refresh here a little bit. In Lakeland's case, just refresh. In Sarasota's case, certainly to regroup.
Featuring a menu with over 130 items, Cam's Catering Company is the one-stop shop for all of your catering needs. Make your next event a tasteful affair by
So we said the Tropics will be on the road for 4 in a row after this Saturday night
also find them on Facebook or check
at Bryant Stadium. They are in action next Tuesday, June 25th, just 4 days from now. That'll be up at Daytona Stadium against Daytona SC. And then their first Saturday in June away game. They've played 4 straight here at Bryant Stadium, but they will finish the month on the road against the Villages SC, always a great rivalry game. Then a week off until their next start on July 6th, the Independence Day weekend against the Treasure Coast Titans. And then the road trip will conclude on Tuesday, July 9th, in a rematch here against Sarasota, that one at IMG Academy. The regular season finale back here at Bryant Stadium on July 12th. And being that that is a Friday night, it is a 7 o'clock kickoff. Well, one thing you notice about Shello, he is very vocal in goal. Can hear him all the way out here at the midfield line directing traffic. Chance perhaps here for Sarasota, the cross in front, but Shello will get there. Good idea by Zach Ham, but one of the Tropics defenders got a foot in there to harmlessly pop it up into the air, and it was no problem for Shello to control it. Shello, a 6-footer, 175 pounds. He has an older brother, Robert, who also plays college soccer up in the Northeast at NYU. Engineer major, so if you're majoring in engineering at Cornell, you're not only athletic, you're pretty smart. Which is never a bad thing, and probably one of the reasons he's out there as vocal as he is to make sure he's got his defenders and midfielders exactly where he wants them. Sarasota has had a couple of decent chances. Don't think they would have an official shot on goal yet. Luca Beechers tries to clear the zone for the Tropics. Beechers, of course, the Tropics captain this year, has been with the club since its debut back in 2017 in the USL. Barker again on the steal. He'll build forward, and offsides is going to be called against Bacchus. Just a half a step ahead of the defensive line for Sarasota. Tried to hold up. You could see him just taking that half step just a moment too soon. Good call by the linesman. Close, but no question that Raphael was just a bit anxious to see if he could get the hat trick here in the first quarter. 3-0 Lakeland if you're just joining us. 3 goals in the first 20 minutes, 2 by Bacchus, and then a third by Julian Hall. Bacchus going to try and track it down again. Couldn't get around O'Sullivan. Benedicom with pressure, double teamed, and he'll give it up. But Murphy will take it right back for William Niamsi. Niamsi tries to lift it through. Chance in front, and Kasparek just couldn't quite get a solid contact on that. Good to have you along at mycujo.tv. We'll be with you Wednesday, as we said, from Lake Myrtle for UPSL Tropics SC Round 2 playoff action. You can get all the latest on the playoff situation at fltropics.com. Sarasota trying to create a chance now. Here's a shot, and that goes just over the frame.
If you're not at a Tropics game in the next couple months, visit centralflorida.org can tell you what is going on where and when. They're your most up-to-date and informative source on what to do right here in Central Florida any day of the week and any week
Andre
of the
Scott,
year.
who
Go to visit centralflorida.org.
let it fly from about 22 yards out. Heading into the 32nd minute, Tropics 3, Sarasota no score. As the score line would indicate, Lakeland has controlled most of the play and been the better side here this evening. And Sarasota going to have to really work to break what has become a 6-game winless streak, 0-4-2 in that time. But as we said, on paper they have been competitive with ties against Treasure Coast and the Villages, two of the best teams in the division this year. So they can be dangerous. Maybe get one here before the half and do a little more regrouping at halftime. Who knows? We'll see. But Coach Owen Conlon has to be extremely pleased with the start here tonight. Long distance bid there
The Tropics encourage you to join the free
from
Winghouse
Ham, but
Rewards
that was
Club.
well wide.
Simply go to winghouse.com/WH-rewards.
That's all it is.
Knock is going to be whistled for the infraction. Jordan Day with it for Sarasota. He's a little give and go with Logan Moriarty. And that one is offsides against Sarasota. Flag was up. Hall with some pressure by Ham there. Tropics will control it back to the captain, Luka Beechers. Beechers had a pretty header goal in last week's win on a set piece. Bacchus, like, where was the foul, man? Hasn't had much to complain about here in the first 45, though, that's for certain. We head towards minute 36 now. And all Lakeland tonight, 3-0. Funny thing about how the Trops came out so quickly and finished so efficiently in those first 20 minutes is very often their best stretch of the game is the first 15 or 20 minutes of the second half. Yamsi with it. Kasparic will play it back to Beechers, and he'll reverse field now over to Murphy. Parker. A couple of guys on Bacchus, but the Tropics will retain possession, at least for the moment. Parker will track this one down. Swan City Syndicate in good form tonight. They've had plenty to cheer about. Here comes Barker one more time on the counter now for Lakeland. Middle of the field to Bacchus. Puts it over to Barker. He loses it, and Sarasota will attempt to build forward. Tropics have not given them a lot of space with which to operate here tonight. Barker on the takeaway. Barker going to make a bid from distance, and that takes a funny bounce and just goes over the goal. Some good English on that one, and
CBD Store Lakeland has the
Tommy
highest
Wallace
quality
had
products
to
while keeping their customer needs in mind.
be a little
CBD
sharper
Lakeland
than he
targets
probably
specific
thought he
ailments,
needed to be
so come
initially
on
to
into
make the
their
stop.
South Florida Avenue location. CBD Store Lakeland is moving plant-based medicine in the 21st century. Check them out at cbdrx4u.com. CBD Lakeland wants you to be you again.
38th minute here at Bryant Stadium. Good crowd again on hand here tonight. They all sit on this side of the field where the corner kick is coming from. That is the shade side of the field. They don't raise no dummies here in Lakeland. Comes out the hall. Chips it down into the box, but it'll be headed out of danger. Counter chance here perhaps for Sarasota. A little takedown there of Andre Scott, but no whistle. Garrow trying to create an opportunity on the far side there for Sarasota. I'll leave it off to Rockford Smith now. There's a serve into the back post by Silva, but corner coming up here for Sarasota. Goes to the back post, and the header.
Bond Clinic is proud to be the official medical provider
Just
of the
off
Tropics
the mark
Soccer
by
Club,
Andre
and their
Scott.
sports medicine team is dedicated to keeping the Tropics in
But
peak
another corner
performance.
coming up here. Shello may have gotten a hand on that one. Nope, they're going to call it a goal kick. That's what I thought originally. 5 minutes of regulation time left. Wouldn't anticipate much stoppage time. Sarasota with a rare Lakeland giveaway to try and create a chance here.
I think it's still hard to find a different basketball court. What's that? There's a couple on the north side. It's just the last time I played was on Sunday at 1 o'clock. No, there was really nobody out there. It was 95 degrees out there. Yeah, the YMCA.
Silva again trying to create there for Sarasota, but couldn't keep it from going over the end line. 3-0 Lakeland if you're just tuning in. 2 early goals by Rafael Vacas, his 4th and 5th of the year, and then the first of the season for Julian Hall, all within the first 20 minutes of play. And that's where we stand, 3-0.
Come on, Orange! There you go!
Features with a good defensive play, and then Barker almost with a good takeaway, and Niamsi is going to be eventually whistled here for the foul. So a chance perhaps for Sarasota to put one into the box and create some opportunities here. They've not had a lot. They will not. Instead, will play it wide to the far wing.
I mean, you wasn't boxing me out. What's that?
Goal kick coming up here for Florida.
Like, we don't want to. This is flat out. Maybe to drive. And half court. Can't be running that full anymore. We were out there.
A little too tall for Julian Hall there, but the Tropics will send it momentarily Sarasota's way as Beechers knocked it in, and Beechers will do it again, this time with his head. Benedicom with the end of the undisciplined play there. And Sarasota can't get a scoring chance there as Andre Scott was a little late getting to his spot. Good play by Barker to get it ahead to Hall now. Almost got it through to Kasparek. Just broken up. Now a good takeaway again, this time by Niamsi. Over to Kasparek. He's going to try and track it down, but he'll lose that foot race to Silva. Just a couple of ticks shy of the 44th minute here. Lakeland 3, Sarasota scoreless. Perhaps one last push forward here for the visitors. But Barker will intercept that pass. He's had a great first half. Even though he was not on the score sheet for the first Tropics goal, it was his effort that created the turnover, and then he did set up Vacas for a second.
Oh.
Barker again on the challenge as Zach Ham tried to push into the Lakeland end of the field. Final minute of regulation time. Tropics look content here to take a 3-0 lead to the locker room, and why not? In their best half of soccer, maybe all season. Espinal. Benitacom couldn't control it. Be a throw in though here for Lakeland. A little bit sloppy there, and Sarasota going to get maybe one more chance. Shouldn't be a ton of stoppage time, as we mentioned, maybe a couple, 3 minutes at best. But for the most part, Sarasota's play has been on the perimeter and not right in front of Ryan Shello, the new Lakeland netminder. Jordan Day. Look out here. Chance in goal, and it will find the back of the net. That's the late one that Sarasota wanted and that the Tropics did not want to give up. And it's Andre Scott that will get it in stoppage time here. So that will put a little damper on what has otherwise been a very good first half here for Lakeland. They played their best 45 minutes, but they perhaps did not play their best 47 or 48 minutes. And Andre Scott has been impressive for Sarasota since checking in after those 3 quick goals were given up. And that will be the halftime whistle. So Bacchus with 2, Julian Hall with 1, but Andre Scott gives Sarasota life with a goal in stoppage time. And we will go to intermission here in Lakeland, Florida tonight with the score, the Lakeland Tropics 3, Sarasota 1. We will be back with second half action in just a few minutes, so stay with us. This is USL League 2 Soccer on mycujo.tv.
Or visit UnitedACFlorida.com.
Just underway here at Bryant Stadium, second half action between the Lakeland Tropics and Sarasota Metropolis FC. And we'll see if that goal in stoppage time for Sarasota is something in which they can build upon. Here's a chance in front, and Vacas just misses on the redirect. As we mentioned in the first half, very often the Tropics' best stretch during any given game is those first 15 or 20 minutes coming out of the locker room. So that was one of the reasons that quick start for Lakeland was such a surprise in the first half tonight. 3 goals in the first 20 minutes if you're just tuning in. 2 from Rafael Tete Vacas and the 3rd from Julian Hall, all within the first 20 minutes of the half. And that is actually the high water mark for goals in a game this season. So if the Tropics can get one more here in the last 45, that will be a season best. Here's Barker, who had a very good first half, cutting towards the top of the box, looks for a little space, but has it knocked away in a good defensive play, and Sarasota will counter. Good work by Andre Scott, who was the Sarasota goal-getter in stoppage time. He was one of the 2 substitutes that came on after that third Lakeland goal. No doubt Sarasota wanted to shake things up a bit and put perhaps a bit of a new look out there. And he definitely was one of Sarasota's better players once he came on in that 20th minute. See what Sarasota will do here. A long ball into the box, headed towards goal, but over the frame. Ryan Shallow took a look, but no need for him to make contact, so it'll be a goal kick here for Lakeland. If you're the Tropics, you certainly don't want to take your foot off the gas here. This kind of appeared there in stoppage time that they were just basically thinking they could get it to the intermission at 3-0, and Sarasota took advantage of just perhaps a momentary loss of focus, and that's all it takes. And I'm sure the message from Owen Conlon in the locker room at halftime was perhaps a little bit more spirited than it might otherwise have been, because it was a very good half of play by Lakeland. As we said, probably their best 45 minutes of the season, at least first 45 minutes. They played very well against Treasure Coast here in the second half, in particular in that game. But Shallow going to come out, but he is going to get burned. And Sarasota is right back in it. And who else? Andre Scott in the 48th minute, and we've got ourselves a ball game as Sarasota has fought back from a 3-0 deficit. It's now 3-2 Lakeland. Nice little move by Andre Scott as Shallow was coming out to try and challenge, but Scott got it by him. Up to the Tropics to see if they have an answer here. And again, a takeaway, and again, a counter here for Sarasota. Beecher's going to be called for the contact. So we mentioned on the bench, Lakeland has some pretty good firepower. Let's see at what point, if at all, Owen Conlon will go to some of those names. Raheem Taylor Parks, Kaz Kimura, among others that are available. But right now, a set piece in the Lakeland end Gavin Rockford-Smith going to tee it up. Sends it on frame, and Shello able to collect that one without too much of a trouble. Tries to start a quick counter here. And that one will be far too tall for Kasperic. I mentioned it after that third Lakeland goal that if there was any good news for Sarasota, it was there was still plenty of time to climb back in, and climb back in they have. Now at 3-2. So 2 goals by Vacas for the Tropics, and now 2 for Scott, the substitute for Sarasota. Silva trying to get around Espinal, and that one will be sent over the sideline. Tropics a little scattered here in the first 6 minutes of the half, giving up a goal, and Sarasota has definitely come out, and they're the ones that have had the extra pep in their step so far. Features will just play it back through the midfield, but again, Sarasota will quickly counter. This is Logan Moriarty, but he can't control, so the Tropics will get a throw in near the half line. So a 3-0 Lakeland lead is now just 3-2. And we are just now in the 51st, heading to the 52nd minute. So a lot of soccer left here tonight. Tropics almost in a must-have to get 3 situation. You need to come with the pressure. Vacas going to track it down. But that'll be cleared into the east stands. As we said, actually a nice crowd on hand here tonight at Bryant Stadium. They're all on this side of the field, since at least when the game starts, this is the shade side. Pretty much everything in the shade now, and while warm, there is a breeze. Here's a chance in front, a push down, but they'll say play on. Could have been a dangerous moment there, as Craig Barker was trying to move in on goal. Next goal in this one, if there is a next goal, could be extremely important. Tropics have lost whatever momentum they've had from that quick start. Vacas runs out of room.
Let's go, Orange. Let's go. Let's keep it in.
Looks like Sarasota has a sub in waiting.
I think this should be a team sponsor. Orange Vanilla.
That's good, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And a shaken up Sarasota player. That's the reason for the stoppage at the moment. That is one of the defenders, Logan Moriarty. He's all right. Don't know if he was injured. Might have actually had a little equipment adjustment there.
Bond Clinic is honored to be the title sponsor and official medical provider of the Tropics Soccer Club.
Go, Orange.
Victor Heredia will check in. And Johnny Salgado's night is done for Sarasota. Tropics have yet to make a substitution. That is, I said, Sarasota's third. They had 2 come in, Rafa da Silva and the goal scorer Andre Scott, after that third Lakeland goal in the first half. But you can bet that subs are on the way at some point here, even if it wasn't a close game. In this heat and humidity, you're not going to have a lot of your players go the full 90 if they don't have to. Certainly not ideal. Some obviously will. Guys like Luka Beachers and Mark Murphy will almost undoubtedly go the full 90 in the back. But some of those midfielders that have to chase will
Domino's Pizza is the official takeout or delivery pizza partner of the Lakeland Tropics.
likely have
Tonight, you score
reinforcements coming.
discount on your Domino's order on
56th minute,
Just go to
Lakeland 3,
Domino's.com
Sarasota
and
2
enter
now.
TROPSW to claim your half-off pizza. That's Domino's.com.
Counter chance
code
here for the
TROPSW.
Tropics. Ball through to Kasperic, but offsides is called. It's about the third or fourth time the Tropics have had potentially good scoring chances called back with the flag up.
Come on, Tropics! Close it down, baby. Close it down.
Good job by Camp to keep it in play, but Beachers will win it, but he will send it over the end line. Certainly have to be impressed with Andre Scott's play. I think I just called him Andre Camp. Have a friend in my hometown in Fort Meade, Andre Camp. Shot does not get through.
Looking to personally stay in Lakeland,
Aridia,
Echo
who just
Suites
came
Hotel
on,
in Lakeland, Florida. The official hotel of the Tropics
took it,
is conveniently
did not
located off I-4, exit 33. The newly renovated hotel
get it
with
on
the best
frame on the
amenities
short
around
side,
is
so it'll be a goal kick
available
here
and
for
affordable
Ryan
and classy.
Shello.
Lakeland's best value offering for both nightly and weekly rates. Call 863-904-2050 or book online at www.echosuites.com.
Nice ball played ahead by Roperford Smith there. Espinal going to be whistled for the foul deep in the far corner there, so won't be a corner kick, but it'll be a set piece from deep in the Tropics defensive end of the field. Sarasota will have 8 men forward here. Looking for an equalizer. Played into the box, loose in there, still loose, and is it in the back of the net? I think it is a goal. And Sarasota has climbed all the way back, and I think that will be credited to Adam O'Sullivan. We'll see. Not entirely certain. It was a scrum in front, and Tropics unable to clear. Shello unable to corral it, and Sarasota in the 59th minute has tied it at 3. Unbelievable game here tonight in Lakeland. Tropics dominant for the first 40 or so minutes, but that late goal by Sarasota in stoppage time indeed was the spark that has lit the fire. And what looked to be perhaps a relatively easy 3 points here tonight has now turned into a battle royale. Lacus with some pressure on the far side there. Now an intercept by Hall. Tropics really even haven't had that many great chances since making it 3-0. No chances here yet in the second half at all, even though we're just 60 minutes in. There's a nice move by Kasparek. Kasparek to Hall. Hall will reverse it on the far side to Barker, and he can't control it. And that whole sequence right there kind of indicative of the Tropics here in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Just have lost their edge. I would expect we may see some fresh legs here shortly. Again, a counter here for the Tropics. Now Shella will come out and corral it. So and if nothing else, slow things down a little here. It's been all Sarasota since late in the first half, and certainly all Sarasota here in the second. Barker going to track down the loose ball on the far sideline. Crosses over to Kasparek. Kasparek waits a little too long and is unable to create any opportunity. Espinal with it. Backus trying to keep it alive. But the Sarasota Metropolis FC will clear it. Features in a pretty spirited battle, and finally a whistle and foul against Garrow. Yamsi with a long ball to Barker, and again he can't control. Scheller can hear him out there shouting encouragement to his side. And Edacom with some pressure, and Niamsi will get the throw in. I've not seen any movement yet to get fresh legs out there for Lakeland. Sarasota's got yet another sub ready to come on, but it's still the original 11 here for Lakeland. Radio with it. And offsides called against Sarasota that time.
Tropic summer camps are still available for reservation. The second camp starts Monday with welcome spots still available.
Zach Ham, who was just in behind the Lakeland defense a touch early.
Sign up today. Visit www.lakelandtropics.com/camps or stop by the Tropics sales table.
Jesus Martinez will check in now for Sarasota. So he said the fourth sub of the night for the visitors, and he will replace Adam O'Sullivan. The Tropics look like they are ready to have their first sub into the game. It's going to be Rickard Lindquist, number 12. Here's a chance now for Heredia coming in. Scott with 2 goals will serve it back post, header, and a goal. Four unanswered now for Sarasota. Pretty goal. was Guerrero with the finish on the assist by man of the match for Sarasota, Andre Scott. Lindquist is now in, and the Tropics also have Kaz Kimura in the game. So 2 substitutes now for the Tropics, who have watched a 3-0 lead evaporate, if that's possible in this humid air, but it has here tonight at Bryant Stadium. 4 straight now for Sarasota. That came in the 64th minute. Chance now for the Tropics. They haven't had many in front. Kimura trying to tee it up, leaves it for Hall, and his shot was blocked. It's the best chance the Tropics have had in quite a while. Alicia Villado is the next sub coming in here for the Tropics when he gets waved in. A shootout here tonight at Bryant Stadium. Long into the box, but harmlessly served away. It'll be a throw in here for Lakeland. And now Villado will be waved in. Still have not seen Raheem Taylor Parks check in. He is the fastest player on the Tropics team, very good playmaker. And he can finish as well, although really his speed and playmaking ability is his strength, and we need that at some point here in the
There's a reason that 1 in 4 pre-owned cars in Polk County has Rigo on the back. Go online to learn
final
more
25 minutes or so.
Or stop by one of their dealerships on Bartow Road or Lakeland Hills Boulevard. At Regal Lakeland, Sal says yes.
Lindquist tried to send it ahead for Vacas, but Tropics will retain possession here on the throw-in. 68th minute. 4-3 Sarasota. If you're just tuning in, you've missed a most unusual game. Lakeland with 3 goals in the first 20 minutes. Looked like they were well on their way to an easy win tonight, and Sarasota getting a goal in stoppage time at the end of the first half to get a little bit of a confidence, and they have ridden that wave big time here in the second half to 3 unanswered goals and a 4-3 lead now. First booking of the night coming up. Heredia will be the player shown the yellow.
Saw that too.
Tropics will load the left side of the box here as Lindquist will swing it into the offensive third here from about 43 yards out. And I mean, they've got just about everybody over there. Well, that one fell apart. Now they're going to look back post to Murphy again here, but that is too wide for the defender who had moved up, and then
CPS
he
Investment Advisors are your partner for your
fell to the
financial
turf
future.
anyway.
They
So
have the expertise and background to help you manage investments, taxes,
things
your
have just
retirement,
not been
or
sharp
trust.
at all here
Log
for
on to
the Tropics in the
cpalliance.com or call them at
second half whatsoever.
863-688-1725. CPS Investment Advisors. Steady as you grow.
Just wonder how things may have been different had they not given up that late goal. But we knew on paper that Sarasota was better than their 2-4-2 mark might show. So full credit to them for sticking with it and really getting a spark from Andre Scott, who has 2 goals and an assist now tonight. Sarasota be looking for their first win since May. They came out of the gate with wins 1-0 and 4-0 over Weston, but that last win came on Wednesday, May 15th. Since then, they have 2 draws and 4 losses, but those 2 draws, as we mentioned, impressive efforts, 2-2 against Treasure Coast and 1-1 against the Villages. Long cross, never got through to Barker. Taylor Parks will be, no, it's not Taylor Parks. I believe it's going to be Jesus Colombo coming in. Is that right? Let me double check that. I remember seeing him on the substitute list, but yeah, that will be Parks. Number 9 usually wears number 7. So we'll see if Raheem can use that speed and provide a spark for the Tropics, who are in desperate need of one at the moment. So as we said, for Sarasota, they have had a couple of impressive efforts on their resume, even though they weren't wins. This is the first of 4 on the road for Sarasota. They will play Wednesday up in Jacksonville against Florida Elite, and then a week from tonight against Treasure Coast, and then we'll finish the road trip on July 6th against Daytona. Their last regular season home game will be a rematch with the Tropics on Tuesday, July 9th over at IMG Academy. '74th minute now. 4-3 Sarasota. Crazy, crazy night. It was a hard run into the far fence there by Villado. He was trying to catch up to a Loose ball on the far side. Not a lot of space here between the sidelines and the fencing that surrounds the field. Probably 6 feet or so of space. That's about it. So if you're under full head of steam, that can be a little dangerous. And it looks like his head that is the one that took the brunt of the impact there. So they will obviously be very careful as to tending to the situation. Yeah, definitely a head injury. Looks like he might have been cut on his forehead. They've got some compression gauze up there on his forehead right now, so Bilodeau has gotten back to his knees anyway. Always scary when you have a head involved. We had a FC Miami City player actually have a seizure on the field here after a head injury a few weeks ago. Bilodeau gonna very, very gingerly walk over to it's very close to where the Tropics locker room is, so they will be able to give him a little bit better attention, I think, in there. So Inti Antunes will come in as the substitute, number 16. Had a pretty goal here at Bryant Stadium a couple of weeks ago. Lakeland in real need of something here offensively as Julian Hall tries to head it into the zone. Beechers gets it ahead to Hall now. Hall will push forward. On the right side to Kimura now. Kimura with a little space in the box, gets it in front, but knocked over the end line by a Sarasota defender, so it'll be a corner kick coming up here for the Tropics. See if the Tropics can convert here. Right through the box, nobody there. Here's a chance, shot, and that goes high and wide. That one missed everybody in front, and Murphy again had snuck up from his center back position and couldn't quite get it on frame. About 10 minutes of regulation time left here. We just hit the 80th minute. Sarasota down 3-0, 20 minutes into the game. Has come all the way back and now leads at 4-3.
There you go. Come on, Gavin.
Kimura will pick it up here for Lakeland. Hall tries to get it ahead to Vakis. Vakis will play it back for Barker. Taylor Raheem Parks trying to get ahead of the field here, and he's unable to do it as he was double teamed. Tried to use that good speed to create a seam and burst on through, but couldn't do it as Lindquist also unable to make the takeaway there. Actually, that was Barker, and offsides called. Espinal will play it in the corner again to Kimura. Had that cross just a minute ago that Murphy couldn't quite get on goal. Knocked out of there. Good save by Wallace as he punched it away. Now here's a chance shot, and that one is blasted just off the mark by Barker.
Boring Business Systems is a leader in managed network, print, and IT services in Central Florida. Their clients tell them that they have unsurpassed customer service, and they're focused on making your business run smoother all the time. Visit them at boring.com.
Hard to believe that the Tropics are in position now to perhaps just hope for an equalizer before the end of the match here, leading 3-0 at one point. Heredia and Espinal got tangled up there.
Come on now, Orange. Let's go. Turn.
Bacchus with it. He's got good speed as well. Pushes it to the outside, leaves it for Lindquist, now to Parks. Raheem Taylor Parks. Espinal. Reverse things over to Murphy now. Take away by Espinal, and then he loses it, but Lindquist right there to keep Lakeland's possession. Kimura in the corner. Kimura in front! And I think it was Wallace who came up with the save of the match right there. Great ball in front by Kimura. And the Tropics will get a corner out of it here with just 6 minutes to go in regulation time. 84th minute here. There's the corner, far post, and no one can get there for the Tropics. Taylor Parks took a whack at it, but
Il Forno Italian Restaurant brings you the best fresh Italian cuisine. Come and dine with him on South
well off the mark.
Lakeland 6 days a week and bring your appetite. Il Forno, fresh Italian cuisine right here in Lakeland.
Great job, 21.
Good hand for Craig Barker, who's had a nice game here tonight. See his subs in for by a player I do not have on the Lakeland roster.
Come on, Orange. Let's go.
Come and see why so many
Good
people
idea by
depend on
Roquefort
Planet
Smith
Fitness
to
in
make a
South
bid there
Lakeland
from
to reach
distance,
their
but
fitness goals.
did
You
not
can
strike
join
it
for as
well.
little as $10 a month. Visit them on South Florida Avenue in Lakeland or log on to
Down to
planetfitness.com.
just over 4
Planet
minutes
Fitness,
now of
the
regulation
judgment-free
time.
zone.
Sarasota 4, Lakeland 3. This would be as disappointing a loss as the Tropics have had all year, and they've had a couple. And this one would have to be at the head of the list. Espinal and Scott get a little tangled there, and Scott correctly gets a yellow card for throwing the elbow. We will have a little more stoppage time, I would expect, than normal. And that injury delay for Elise Villadot. Features will send it deep.
There you go, guys! There you go, guys!
There's Scott again with it. Scott with his shot. Didn't get much on it. Some in the ambulance now for Villadot. Certainly a pretty nasty collision with the fencing, and as we said, up in the head area, nothing you want to take any chances with. So beyond the cut, any kind of a concussion issue is
Fans,
certainly
as a
something
reminder,
to be
Tropics merchandise is now available for sale, courtesy of We Got Soccer.
taken very
Jerseys,
seriously.
T-shirts, tank tops, and hats can be found at the Tropics merchandise tent located near the west sideline of the stadium.
2 minutes of regulation time left, and Sarasota going to send one more sub in here, it looks like. That'll be Dean Blake. Check that, Blake Dean. Could be Dean Blake. And it'll actually be a sub here for, I think, Andre Scott gonna be called to the sideline. So the man who got Sarasota back into this one big time with that goal at the end of stoppage time in the first half to make it a 3-1 deficit, came out and scored the first goal of the second half, and Sarasota was off to the races. Corner kick coming up now for Lakeland. This will be the last play of regulation time, as we have just 30 seconds on the clock before we hit stoppage time. 5 minutes of stoppage time, we're being told, so that's how much time the Tropics have to see if they can get an equalizer. Hard to believe they were saying that. Again, back post, and again knocked out of there, still loose in the box, and then finally cleared all the way back to the half line. This one will result in a goal kick here for Sarasota. Well, if the Tropics don't come back in this one, it might be a playoff death knell. They needed 3 here tonight to try and set up what will be a 4-game road trip after tonight. And some very tough ones in there, including dates against Treasure Coast and the Villages. 2 teams ahead of them in the standings. Beecher steps up. No flag up. Bacchus is going to make a bid from distance as Wallace was well off his line, but Raphael not able to really get a good strike on it. Thought might be called back on offsides. I think Sarasota may have thought that as well. Lindquist can't control it. Espinal using the head off the shot by Victor Heredia. Be a throw in here, or will it be a goal kick for Lakeland? Looks like a goal kick. We're in stoppage time here at Bryant Stadium tonight, 4-3 Sarasota. You're a late tuner-inner. There's 3-0 Lakeland, 20 minutes into the game, and practically speaking, it's been all Sarasota since. Especially here in the second half, although Lakeland has stepped up the pace here in the last 10 minutes or so to try and get an equalizer, but this will be a very disappointing result. Julian Hall with it. Tried to leave it off for Lindquist.
There you go, Zach! There you go, Zach! Take it back! Oh!
Merle with it. Gets it through. There's a shot and a save by Wallace. That may be Kyan Lynch, number 27, whose name is not number I do not have on the roster, but he is one of the subs, and I think that's Lynch. And that may be the last best chance the Tropics get here tonight, although they will have a corner kick coming up, so one more set piece chance at least. But that was the Tropics' best scoring chance here in a long time. Not sure Lynch struck it quite as well as he wanted to. It's a good strike, not a perfect by any stretch, but Wallace still able to make a very good save. So Sarasota will go through all of its subs now. This is Felipe Morales in here in the final couple of minutes, as one of the Sarasota players is shaken up. That is Guerrero.
You don't get to stop there. You're going to get a card.
Come on, the Oscar's on the way.
So a corner kick coming up here for the Tropics. It's high and going to be no one there. It'll be cleared over the, is it the end line or the goal line? Looks like it'll be a throw-in, and it is a throw-in. There's a cross in front. Nobody home there for the Tropics. Time running short now. Ball back into the box for Lynch. but he is unable to find a teammate. Kimura will play it back to Espinal and just plays it forward in the hopes that one of his teammates will be able to corral it. Lindquist finally will settle it. And that one just a little too long, and that will be, I believe, no, they're gonna, I think, blow the whistle just to make sure there isn't any other extracurricular activity down there. So we have not reached full time quite yet, but we're close.
Got 3 minutes.
Tough result here tonight for Lakeland, though. Played maybe their best 45 minutes of the season, and followed that up with, I don't know if it was their worst 45, but it would be close to it. Perhaps one more chance to push forward here for the Tropics. There's a long ball down looking for Parks, but Sarasota will clear the area. Now Espinal is
Red card! Red card! Red card!
taken with a lot of force there by Roper Smith. That certainly could have been a red card.
Red card!
As,
That's a red card!
Foley playing the man and not the ball there. And that's, you worry about injury. Sarasota player fortunate perhaps that the red did not come out there. Not that it will probably alter the outcome, but certainly looked deserved. There's a chance in front, but Wallace will cover up. And that is full time here in Lakeland tonight. First win in almost 2 months for Sarasota, and a disappointing result certainly for the Tropics, who
Sarasota Metropolis
watch a 3-0 lead
your Lakeland Tropics 3.
evaporate as Sarasota scores the final 4 here tonight. The Tropics will be on the road for 4 straight. We will be back here for the regular season finale on July 12th. We will be back with you at Lake Myrtle Sports Complex this coming Wednesday on mycujo.tv. That is a 7:30 kickoff as the Tropics SC will play a second round UPSL playoff game against Sporting Orlando. So if we don't see you at Lake Myrtle on Wednesday night, we hope to have you right here at mycujo.tv for the streaming event. The final score once again here tonight from Bryant Stadium in Lakeland: Sarasota 4 and Lakeland 3. Have a great weekend, everybody.